Let's go. Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. It's still January, so I want to take this time to wish each and every one of you a Happy New Year and all the best for 2025. Welcome to the Jamaican Geologist YouTube channel. I decided to start this channel as a bit of a passion project, partly because of my own personal experiences with individuals, and secondly because of misinformation that I've seen in the public space when it relates to certain phenomena, as well as the comment section on different platforms of social media. I also believe that geology as a discipline is often misunderstood and misrepresented by individuals outside of the discipline, and I deem it important to speak on certain matters related to geology. Most people in Jamaica are unaware of the geologists that work there, the different industries that we are a part of, and the various subdisciplines of the geosciences which exist. So, my personal experience, I pursued geology as an undergraduate course of study. I often received a lot of questions from friends, uh, particularly those outside of the discipline, of course. What you gonna do with that when you're done? Space there for that at Jamaica, I better you go somewhere of a social science, go do something, or do business or econ or something else. Um, I also remember in a particular setting, um, someone downright laughed because of what I decided to choose to study. I remember as an undergrad student, there was a seminar on campus, and there was a prominent Jamaican journalist who attended the function as well. And, of course, he went around and he asked everyone what they were studying. Of course, things like law, medicine, economics, um, business, banking and finance, all of these other, mainstream sort of disciplines came up. When he came to me and I said geology, he looked at me and he smiled and he said, "So you're going to help us to find oil in Jamaica one day then?" And inside, I just kind of rolled my eyes, but on the outside, I smiled and nodded and said, as enthusiastically as I could, "That's the plan, that's the plan." uh, so that's one of the, or those are some of the personal experiences that I've had. So, what qualifies me to speak about this stuff, you may say? Well, I have my bachelor's degree was in geology. I've worked in industry for over 10 years. I've left the industry now. I later, while still in industry, I did a master's in natural resource management. But I decided to leave the industry, and then primarily because I got a scholarship. I got a scholarship to pursue doctoral studies in geology, of course. So I've left the industry now. So just as I left UWI, I worked in a soils lab where I test aggregate, concrete, asphalt, uh, and soil that are used in civil engineering projects. After doing that for 2 years, I left and I worked with the government of Jamaica as an economic geologist. So I guess you could say I know a thing or two because I've seen a thing or two. So, what is geology, right? It's just a study of boring rocks, isn't it? And I would say that, that's a common answer that's often given. But if you ask me personally, what I would say to a person who says that geology is a study of rocks, I would say, well, it is woefully inaccurate. But that's just me. I've watched other geology related content here on YouTube, and what I've seen is many of the YouTubers would downright tell you that you're wrong. So if you Google the word geology, what you'd see is something like this: the scientific study of the earth, including its physical features, processes, history, and composition. Okay, so geology just isn't the study of rocks, it's the study of the earth. But what if I Google something like, what is the study of rocks? Well, Google will tell you the study of rocks is petrology, and petrology is a subdiscipline of geology, right? So that's what Google would say. Okay, so, a non geologist might say, so fine, geology is the study of the physical earth, and the study of rocks is petrology, which is a subdiscipline of geology. And they might further go on to say that those are just technicalities anyway. And why is geology important? And you live in Jamaica, and geologists don't work in Jamaica. And that's a misconception I've heard. And I would say that there isn't a plethora or an overabundance of jobs for geologists in Jamaica. But we do exist, and we do work, and sometimes with very limited resources. So that has been my experience working in industry in Jamaica. So why is geology important? Uh, First of all, it's a study of the earth, and we live on the earth. Um, and we occupy space. We build, we commute, we work, we do all of these things on the planet. That being said, it's important we understand the natural processes that dictate how we build, where we build. But not only that, geology helps us to understand resources. And most people, when they think of resources, they think of like forests, water, maybe the dreaded fossil fuels. And few people think of mineral resources. But, you know, every road that is built, every house that goes up, they're built with geological materials. Think about it for a second. What builds most of the houses in Jamaica? Concrete, right? And what goes into concrete? Concrete is like sand and gravel and cement, right? Okay, so sand and gravel, they come from rivers. Those are geological resources. Where does cement come from, or what makes cement? Cement is mostly made of limestone, gypsum, shale, and clays. And all of these things are geological resources, and understanding how they function and work and in our engineering structures, they're important for us to have a sustainable sort of uh, infrastructure. So, geology as a whole, excuse the pun, is the cornerstone of civilization. But it also drives the energy transition. With climate change, we're thinking about moving away from fossil fuels and moving into more renewables. But let's pause and think about this for a second. What goes into a solar panel, a wind turbine, and electric cars with Tesla and so on? They're popular now. What goes into all of these things? I mean, electric cars, a lot of it is powered by a lot of the technology is powered by lithium ion batteries. Um, Metals like copper go into the solar panels. And wind turbines, a lot of them are made from aluminum. And what do all of these have in common? They're all metals and they all are mined from the earth. Again, geological resources. So, this is what makes geology such an integral part of our lives without us even realizing it sometimes. So, of course, because geology touches so much of our lives, I have a list of 10 subdisciplines because it's such a wide discipline, it covers so many things. And I thought I'd just share some of those with you. And I may speak about these in other videos to come. But here is a list of the subdisciplines in geology and the cross-disciplinary connections that make this science so wide and far-reaching. So there is economic geology, there is hydrogeology, there's geochemistry, petroleum geology, engineering geology, mineralogy, volcanology, paleontology, sedimentology, and seismology. So all of these things are what make geology so wide and varied and contribute so much to society. So what do I envision for this channel? Well, the aim of this channel primarily is to demystify geology, especially for Jamaicans and those who have never studied the discipline and who aren't connected to it in any way. I want to shed some light on something that people know of, but at the same time they don't know of. I want to educate the public about the intricate connections within the geosciences, and my content would focus on industry but also academia because I was in the industry in Jamaica for 10 years. But as a PhD student now, I want to also focus on the academic side of things. So my topics would straddle both industry and academia. So societal impacts of geology, the industry, and some of the players in the industry, and academic things, new research that's coming out. So topics like natural hazards, climate change, minerals. If it's within the geosciences, I will likely cover it. The future content may also include my PhD research. So as my research progresses, I've only just started my PhD. As my research progresses, I may include some of the things that I publish and I may talk about them on the channel as well. There might be collaborations. So I have friends within the industry. I have former lecturers and professors, and even present lecturers and professors that I may speak to, both locally and internationally. And you all know who you are, so be prepared because I may call on you from time to time. And for now, based on my work schedule, I think I can afford to post one video per month. It may be more, it may be less, depending on how things progress for the next few months. But this is what I plan to do. So that being said, this is January's video, and I will see you guys in February. Thank you for watching.